I'm here at Bicester Village in the heart of Oxfordshire, and my shopping experience has been so unique, with over 150 fashion and lifestyle boutiques to choose from.
These gold ones with the black dot, perfect.
I've picked up these beautiful earrings from Astrid and Miu.
Oh, Jill Sander, Temple of Style.
And this stunning shirt from Jill Sander.
So classic and just would never go out of style.
Which both had up to 40% off the original retail price. Such great savings. And did I mention it's so easy to get to for a day out? It's only an hour on the train, direct from London.
Oh, that is gorgeous.
To enter a prize draw to win £500 worth of shopping at Bicester Village, follow the link in the description. T's and C's apply.
I think we can safely say, with all the savings I've made, mission accomplished.
Let's get on to your second failure, which is failed athlete.
Yes.
So you were pretty good at sport and sprinting and all sorts at school.
Yeah, so it's really weird because I got into the public eye when I'd put on a huge amount of weight and was clowning. And so if ever I said I was a failed athlete, people would just laugh, understandably, because they didn't know when I was, a mid-late teens, I was an athlete. I was a lacrosse player at school and had county lacrosse. I think maybe at one point England. My memory is so shot. Lyme disease, see, first memory. But definitely was county level, and then it was a very, very fast sprinter. And it was just sport. Being an athlete was my absolute passion. I think it's back to freedom of movement. I was obviously tall, lean. I was also very good at tennis, and I wanted to be a professional athlete. That's all I could think of doing, and I had this opportunity, because it was it was a good public school. I think a lot of people, well, hopefully it's not just public schools, but a lot of people migrate to those schools to scouts to look for athletes. And somebody came up to me, having seen me sprint the 100 metres, and said, "Oh, I'm from we're a club in Southampton, and you've absolutely got potential. Would you like to come and train for free this summer?" And I was wide-eyed, God, this is my absolute dream. My parents don't live far from Southampton. My God. And then he said to me, bearing in mind this is 1985, "You will have to strap down your breasts." To which I was so scared and so horrified, I just ran away. I never told anyone about it, and that to me feels like I feel like I failed myself there, because there could have been a way around that. If I told an adult about that, they would have said, "You should come and do the training, talk us through the breast thing, because we won't be doing that." So I feel really sad that I missed that opportunity. And then life circumstances, after school and whatever, illness, putting on weight, I just lost that side of me. And I feel, it pains me actually. And it's interesting to get in touch with now, because in the last 3 years, I'm probably the biggest I've ever been, weight-wise, which I hate to say I don't have a problem with. Well, I'm dealing with it not being a problem in terms of bigger is lesser, pun.
Yeah.
But just because it's not me, I feel uncomfortable, and it's difficult to manage and deal with. It's just not my athletic, lean frame. So I'm really in touch again with the sadness of putting on weight in my 20s and losing that athleticism and not keeping up sport and not keeping that up, because it feels like such an inherent part of who I am. I love that movement, that energy, the connection with team sports. I love mastering things. Could have been good at tennis. So yeah, I feel really sad that I missed that.
Yes, because it's losing your identity.
Yeah.
And the way you present in the world is really important if you feel that it doesn't accurately reflect who you are.
Well, it was then hard to then sort of getting into telly big. I mean, I think Miranda would have worked if I'd still been thin in my natural way. I still would have been the bumbling idiot. But you then sort of presenting yourself you do feel like you're presenting not quite who you are. And people would laugh if I said I was an athlete, which always really hurt
Of course, that's so hurtful.
But I tell you what, I'm learning from it now, which I would say to my 20-something younger self who put on weight for illness and other reasons, is actually because it's what I'm having to learn now with this weight gain. It's not the external and how you present is important, but it's not the most important thing. The key is to know and find out who you are without any of the external identifying you, which is what happened to me in my illness. There was nothing. I was bed and housebound on and off for years. So I couldn't work, I couldn't socialise, I couldn't, from whatever, tell stories, I couldn't move, I couldn't go on adventures, I couldn't go on holidays. I lost my home at one point. There was nothing by worldly measurement to go, this is who I am. And it's incredibly humbling and terrifying. But if you find out who you are beyond that, there is a freedom and meaning and joy to life that I don't think I ever would have found without it. So actually, being who I am, whilst being big and not an athlete, is a very humbling privilege, actually, because I can really focus on the most important things about me. It's actually making me feel a bit teary.
It's so powerful what you're saying and how you're saying it. Thank you.
I just think it's that, the initial shame I felt about it, the initial embarrassment. I thought, oh gosh, I'm going back to work after 10 years and I'm going to present really differently and I'm going to be fat, which I know is fine, but it's not me, so it didn't feel fine. But now it is becoming fine. And I just think anyone who feels lesser for any reason, whether it's weight gain, whether it's because they don't feel they have the right job, the right relationship by a certain age, whether they're an introvert and they don't want to, whatever reason, I just so passionately believe that we are inherently valuable and worthwhile and loved, and that's our purpose, to love and to be loved, and nothing else matters. Some people might say that my rumbling, huge, roly-poly tummy is the best part of me, but it's not. Our bodies are not the best part of us. Our jobs aren't the best part of us.
I actually want to pick you up there on the language you use to talk about yourself, because there's a part in the book where you say how important words and labels are. So you label Lyme disease differently. You label your fatigue differently.
Yeah.
Is that still a work in progress? Because just then you sounded pretty critical about yourself.
What, the way I said fat?
The way you said your huge rumbling tummy.
Yeah, that's just me going to an obvious joke. Because I thought that literally just was comedy, honestly.
As defence mechanism, Miranda?
No, not as defence mechanism.
Fine.
Because I'm genuinely learning that my body's not what's important. And then I thought the joke is that, somebody might think this is the most important part of me. It was hilarious,
Thank you
Elizabeth.
for explaining the joke to me. I'm so sorry. I was so in my emotions after the exquisite thing you just said.
Well, it just shows that the comedian does always ruin it if they go there.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all in the delivery.
But do tell us about how important it is the way we talk to ourselves and the fact that we're not our brain-generated anxious thoughts.
Yeah, well, you know all about this, the inner critic. And I think we, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we all have one, but I think we all have one to varying degrees. Mine was pretty nasty and she's now under control.
Yeah, mine's worse than yours. See, that's me doing an inner critic.
Yeah, classic. But yeah, those thoughts of, any I should or could be better thoughts, or hitting the pillow, I didn't do that right, you didn't do that better, you're not as good as that person, you should be better by now, all those sort of inner critical thoughts. They're so much more damaging than I think we ever realised. That to that, I would never want to scare someone to think, oh my gosh, I have that inner critic, am I damaging myself? No, because you can rewire away from it. But yeah, just to start to begin to listen how you talk about yourself, or think about yourself, more importantly, having that moment of stillness to write down your kind of top line thoughts. But yeah, taking out, I think I used to say the word gangly or goofy to kind of apologise for myself all the time. And actually those words really are powerful. And your brain hears everything you say and think. So you become what you think in a way, don't you? So yeah, but the one trick I was told by an expert who'd dealt with ME and chronic fatigue was start taking the language of illness and symptoms out of your lexicon, because every time you mention Lyme disease or fatigue, it's spooking your brain. Because fatigue was so horrifying, unless you've had it, it's just impossible to explain. But you literally, I remember at one point looking at a glass of water and just thinking, I don't know how to pick that up. I need water. I literally, that's how, what fatigue is. And so it's a really frightening condition. So if you can start saying other words, so I now call fatigue gazelle. And if ever I do have any setbacks still in my health, I'll say to husband, oh, gazelle's really bad today. So I'll talk about the opposite sort of sentiment to it. So I think there's a huge power in words.
I hope you enjoyed that video. Be sure to check out the full episode of How to Fail wherever you get your podcasts. And also make sure you're following us on social media for all the latest updates.